What's up guys, and welcome to another PUBG tutorial video. Today we're going to be talking about 5 tips to help improve your team fighting and help you win more fights overall. These 5 steps have been put into kind of a easy to remember abbreviation, and that is Tupac, like Tupac Shakur. So now we'll go over these 5 tips that we can use in all types of team fighting on different maps, both in ranked, maybe in casuals as well, but also all the way up to tier 1 competitive games. The first thing that we're going to be talking about is terrain. Terrain is a massive deal in fights, and if you know your terrain better than your opponents, that way you also have an advantage when it comes to playing around your opponent and kind of running into new positions that they might not know of or might not exactly know where are. So knowing the terrain around you and what you can do with it is definitely one of the biggest advantages you can have in any team fight. The way you can improve on your knowledge about the terrain around you is just to play a lot of games in positions that you might not know or that you might not be comfortable playing. Other than that, what you can also do, and what I've done in the past, is fly around in replay and find dips, find different positions where you can pull up in different circles and kind of map them out on a map on your other monitor that you kind of have in paint, and you mark an X here, you can pull up and do different things. This is definitely something that I've taken advantage of in the past, and I think it's very valuable for any team or any player out there to kind of take this time to learn the maps, learn how you can play in different positions, and maybe have a surprise for your enemy in the next fight you have. So the second tip here today is utility and how to use utility in fights. Every single piece of utility has its place in every team fight in modern PUBG. Knowing how to use utility like flashbangs, molotovs, or even smoke grenades is definitely something that could be a valuable asset for your team when you're fighting in close quarters or in open positions where you need to lay down a smoke wall or anything to kind of peek or have any chance of pushing onto an enemy position. This is tied in very well with the first point, the terrain. Knowing where does the dip end and how much do I need to cook my grenades is so valuable, and is able to crack open a fight that you might have had very hard time winning. So the next up here we have presence. And presence is defined by a person or thing that exists or is present in a place but is not seen. So what this means, for example, is you're sitting in the middle of the circle and you guys have been looking at a compound for a while and thinking, okay, is there people in there? Is there maybe 1 or 2 guys, or is it maybe a full 4-man? Presence and knowing how to give off presence and kind of perceived presence is something that is super valuable and has the ability to be the determining factor whether or not your team is going to win the game. So giving off presence is pretty easy. You shoot your gun once in a while, maybe you pick up a secondary DMR or something to kind of give the perception that there's more than one player in this compound. And perceiving presence is something that is a bit of an art form and kind of takes a lot of work to kind of understand fully. But put very easily, it is about understanding how much presence a team is giving off from sitting in a compound, because you can most likely tell if it's a full 4-man team and you hear multiple guns being shot at the same time from different buildings at the same time, and kind of understanding that, okay, there might be 3 guys, 4 guys sitting in this compound. But also being able to see through the presence is something that can be very tough, especially when you don't really have a lot of experience, but it will come with time and understanding. But my best tip to you on improving on this is basically playing a lot of games, going in on Twitter, watching the game through afterwards, and kind of learning how different players and different teams give off the perception of presence. But overall, a very hard subject to get really good at, but something that if you master it, you're going to be so valuable for any team. And now second to last is the A, and A stands for angles. And you can kind of look at this angles thing as being both a defensive and an offensive thing. In defense, angle could be knowing where you can peek in order to have an isolated peek against somebody on a compound, like where you're able to have a 1v1 and not have anybody else peek you at the same time. but also understanding how angles work when you're pulling up at a compound or pulling up towards a fight that you want a third party, and knowing, okay, I can be shot from here, here, and here, and being aware of that, being on a swivel when you pull up, knowing, okay, take a quick spin around, look, okay, I'm open to that compound, I'm open to that compound, I'm open to this, and I need to be aware of that. This is very situational, but also ties very well into terrain and understanding where you can be seen from when you're standing on different parts of the map. And so a way to practice this is going in replay mode, watching dips, looking at where does the different compounds have angles onto, and where can I pull up safely if I want to pull up on this specific place. It doesn't take much more than 10 minutes to do, and yeah, you're just shooting yourself in the foot if you're not doing it. But anyways, lastly, we have the C, and C stands for communication. And as the age-old saying goes, communication is key. And that's true. Communication in PUBG is one of the most crucial parts of being a team. If you're able to give good communication and good information to your teammates, then it should be a breeze for you and your team to win any team fight basically. Being able to coordinate and being able to receive information as well is something that is really hard to master, but if you can do it, then you're going to be miles ahead of anybody else. A great way to get better at communicating with your team would be to sit down and have a chat about what different buildings are called, what different compounds are called, so everybody's on the same page when something's being said. You can easily do that because I've already done the work for you. In the description there's a download link to a PDF file with both Miramar and Erangel building names, so you don't have to go out and find names for them. Nobody ever told you to reinvent the wheel. And so guys, that's gonna be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed and I hope you guys learned something new, and remember that every single time you have any kind of problems with remembering what you need to do in different team fights, just remember Tupac. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.